Hi everyone, welcome to another Future Ready Dialogue series brought to you by Center for AI Innovation and the AI 10 team. This evening, we will be discussing the gaps between what schools are teaching and what the industry needs, and how universities and schools can prepare youth to be future proof, and what industries can expect and do to develop future ready leaders. Let's begin with our first topic, the gaps between education and industry needs. This session is moderated by Shankar Damodaran, and he is also joined by three esteemed panelists. Now, without further ado, over to you, Shankar.
Thank you. Thank you, Misa. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to this panel discussion. Today we have three distinguished panelists joining us. Patricia, a management consultant from South Africa. Lokman, an expert in change transformation from Malaysia. And Professor Nazri, a renowned AI expert and futurist. We'll be discussing the gaps between what schools are teaching and what the industry needs, how universities and schools can prepare youths to be future-proof, and what industries can expect and do to develop future leaders. Let's begin with our first topic, the gaps between education and industry needs. I think I'll begin with Patricia. Patricia, based on your experience as a management consultant, can you provide us with some examples of the key gaps you observe between what students learn in schools and what the industry actually requires from young professionals?
Certainly, Shankar. One example is the lack of practical problem-solving skills among our graduates. Many students, they're well-versed in theoretical concepts, but struggle to apply them in our real-world scenarios. Another gap is the limited exposure to industry-specific tools and technologies. For instance, students may be familiar with generic software programs, but they often lack proficiency in the industry-specific software that is commonly used in the workplace. Lastly, there's a gap in interpersonal skills and effective communication. While technical knowledge is important, the ability to work in teams, present ideas, communicate effectively, have problem-solving skills in real-world scenarios are equally crucial in a professional setting.
Thank you, Patricia.
Thank you.
Lokman, as an expert in change transformation and management, could you provide us with a few examples of how universities and schools can better prepare youth to be future-proof in the face of rapidly evolving industries?
Sure, Shankar. Thanks for the question. I think that question is very relevant now, because I think again the buzzwords now is about future-proofing our talents. Well, one example is by incorporating interdisciplinary courses that encourage students to explore different fields and develop a holistic understanding of complex problems. Well, by incorporating this interdisciplinary process, this will eventually help the students to become adaptable and versatile professionals who can thrive in various interdisciplinary work environments. I think this is very crucial because we don't want the future talent that we have is the one who are book smart but not incorporating the surrounding environment around them. It's very crucial for us to have dynamic talents for the future, and this is also to encourage multilateral mindset and encourage dynamic problem-solving skills among the students. Another approach is by integrating industry partnerships and internships into the curriculum. By collaborating with companies, educational institutions can provide students with practical experiences and exposure to real-world challenges instead of just going following the book or any courses that they learn at school. So real-time environment, real-time problems that the industry is facing is key in terms of managing the talent of the students. Additionally, student universities can also offer flexible learning options such as online courses and micro credentials to enable lifelong learning and continuous upskilling. The idea is basically to remove the routine work and to shift the skills of the students towards being more analytical and eventually future-proofing our talents. Thank you, Shankar.
Thank you, Lokman. Professor Nazri, from your perspective as an AI expert and futurist, can you share some examples of how industries can play a role in developing future leaders and supporting educational institutions in bridging the gap between education and industry needs?
Certainly, Shankar. Now, listening to what Lokman and Patricia have shared earlier, you've observed and you've noticed that the ability for universities to create highly adaptable and highly versatile professionals of the future becomes very limited if the universities are not in line with the curriculum and what the industries need. So there is a challenge there to produce adaptable and versatile professionals, as mentioned by Lokman, especially in an interdisciplinary work environment, right? So, and to top it up, I think Patricia mentioned about the lack of practical problem-solving skills among graduates, and the lack of practical problem skills that will be able to help solve industry problems or what the bosses tell them or the employers tell them to do. So there's a shortage of such graduates to be able to have that skill set to solve complex problem. Yeah, and to top it up further, right, the interpersonal skills, as mentioned by Pat, and the effective communication become very stunted. So you have a complex problem, you have difficulty in communication, you have limited interpersonal skills. So these are the things that many institutions are dealing with and many employers are dealing with. Now, to answer your question, how do we bridge the gap then between education and industry needs, right? So in order to address those points. So one example is industry must come forward to help sponsor or at least subsidize part of the R&D projects in collaboration with the universities. So there has to be a university industry partnership involving R&D projects that both parties can contribute. So in what sense? From the university's perspective, you allow the students to work on industry relevant projects such as those, and for them to gain practical experience while contributing to solve the real world challenges faced by the industry. So that's one way to look at it. Yeah. Another way to look at it is for universities to organize more industry-led workshops, not theoretical, not conceptual, but real world challenges, real world topics that are organized by the industry together with university in the form of workshops, seminars, and guest lectures, and expose the students, not just the students, but also the educators and researchers to latest trends, latest technologies, and latest practices in the field. In doing so, this provides the educators and the students, especially through the university, with insights into what industry expects, and then help to bridge the gap between academia and the industry. Another idea to consider is for industries to establish mentorship programs where experienced professionals or mentors guide and support students along with their lecturers, and then sharing their knowledge and experiences to nurture future leaders. Hope it makes sense. Thank you, Shankar.
Thank you, Professor Nasri. It makes total sense. There are great points to be taken note of. And Patricia, thank you. And Lokman, thank you for sharing these insightful examples. They highlight the importance of addressing the gaps between education and industry needs, preparing youths to be future-proof, and fostering collaboration between industries and educational institutions. These examples demonstrate the diverse approaches that can be taken to bridge the gap and develop future leaders.